strongly encourage you to still do these. They're very, very helpful, okay? And if you did do them, way to go. I think you get more out of this. Okay, so Calvin has saved up a down payment of $45,000. That's important, right? $45,000. Going to buy a house. If he does buy it, he will apply a full down payment to the cost. The house is listed at $379,000. Your interest rate, compounded semi-annually. There's monthly payments, and it's a 25-year amortization. So lots of information there. Okay? You're guaranteed to have a mortgage question on your test. Okay? So NI, PV, PY, CY. So this is compounded semi-annually, so that's 2. We're talking about monthly mortgage payments, so this is 12. Future value is 0. We want the monthly mortgage payment, so that gets our dot. Here you have to be careful. It's listed at $379, but we're applying a full down payment, okay? So the amount of the mortgage of the loan is $334,000, okay? Interest is 4.65, and N it's a 25-year mortgage, right? So 25, that's what we're told. It's going to take 25 years, so we multiply that by PY, we get 300. Okay? And then when you solve that, here it is, you're going to get 1876.55. 1876.55 is your monthly mortgage payment. Okay? My key is a little scribbled. Is that what we're getting? Is that what some of us got? Yeah? You got that payment? Yeah. Okay. So 2 marks if you got all of this right. Determine how much Calvin will still owe after 10 years, assuming he maintains the same mortgage details for that length of time. We have to assume that. If you want to know how much you still owe, you use balance. Balance, and it always goes years times PY. So we're going to go balance, and it's 10 years. PY is 12. So it's balance after 120 months have gone by. If you do that, if you call this up, make sure you to quit your TVM screen, to go to the home screen, then go and find balance. You have $243,581.58. Okay. Using a 1.5% appreciation rate, so meaning it's going up, right? The value of the home is going up. How much will Calvin's house be worth in 10 years? That's when we go, right? Future value of the house is going to be, you're starting off with a house that is worth $379,000. You use what it was listed as, what it was sold as. That is the value of the home. You're going to go 1 plus 0.015. Right? I've divided the interest rate by 100, and you're going to raise it to the power of 10. So it's 379, 1.015 to the power of 10. If you type this in, you're going to get 439,844.97. Okay? That is your the value of the home predicted in 10 years from now. It says here, determine the equity. I've built this up for you nicely, so you didn't have just one long formula. To find the equity, we'll just take what it's worth in 10 years, minus what we owe in 10 years. Okay, we know both of these already. So equity is 439,844, 97 minus 243, 581.58. Your equity expected is this. The equity you have in the house, the amount of money that would be yours if you were to sell in 10 years would be almost $200,000. Okay? And so this page is worth 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're out of 5 on this page. And then we'll do the back side. Got it? Two easy marks. State one advantage. Other than building equity, so you can't use that. The advantage of purchasing a house as opposed to renting a similar house. What is an advantage, right? And you can say you may own pets. That would be one. You don't have to worry about the landlord saying, no, you can't own pets or whatever. You get to do whatever you want. Basically, you may renovate at will. Okay? You end up owning the house, the property, at the end. That's also one that you could use for that. And I gave you more in your notes. One advantage of renting. So for renting, you could say that there's a lower startup cost, right? No need for a down payment. It is easier to relocate. There are lower maintenance costs. You have to be specific, okay? Don't just say it's cheaper. Why is it cheaper, right? There's lower maintenance cost. Insurance costs less as well. There's no need for a large down payment, something that's very specific to the course. Utilities are usually included. Okay, so there's a lot of things, and if they ask you to explain, state is short and sweet. Explain, you kind of want to expand a little bit more on it as you answer that. Why, for example, lower maintenance costs? How would you explain that? You would say that the landlord or the owner is responsible for major breakdowns, not you. Okay, easier to relocate. Why is it easier to relocate when you're renting? Because you don't need to like sell your house and get lawyers involved or anything like that. You just, right? You tell your landlord, and yes, you need to sign some papers, but it's easier to relocate, to move. Okay, 7. 1 mark for each, by the way, of those. Nina receives her credit card statement, and it shows a balance of $13.50.32. The interest rate is 21.99, compounded daily. Nina is able to make $50 payments every month. Calculate how long in months it will take to pay off the balance. So by the way, TVM solver, if it's compounded periods, TVM solver works every time. Okay, so you don't have to use the formula if you don't. And if it's payments, you don't have a choice but to use TVM solver. Compounded daily, so this is 365. We're making monthly payments, so that's 12. Future value is 0. $50 monthly payments we're making. Present value is $13.50.32. Can I just remind you, if it says Nina purchased something worth $13.50 plus tax, right? If the question said this plus tax, you would have had to add taxes to this first before putting it in here, right? Because you want the whole amount that you're gonna owe in here. They don't mention, so that's just the balance, that's just how much you owe, so that's what we're gonna go with. 21.99%, and N is what we're solving for. So that's 0 for now for me, until I come back to it. So as you can tell, I fill in top bottom when I do my TVM solver on the calculator, but I go bottom up when I actually write down the numbers. That is easiest for me. Okay, 37.7605, that keeps going. How long in months? To be honest, it's okay to say 37.76 months. It's okay to say that. But you would, if it asks you for how many payments, you would say approximately 38 payments. Okay? Because you make 37 and then another payment at the very end, so that's 38 payments if they ever ask for payments. But if you have the 37.76, you get the mark. Okay, you get 2 marks, by the way, for the correct answer. How much interest will she have paid by the time she pays off the credit card balance? Because N is a decimal, I cannot use the sum of interest. I have to use this one, which is N times the payment minus whatever my present value was. And that is, give me one moment, that is 1888 minus 1350, 32. So you paid interest $537.68 in interest. How much will Nina have paid off in terms of principal after 1 year? And this is where you might be a little bit, it might be a little rough early in the morning to talk about this, but just so you know, if you look up here, this payment of $50, that's not all going towards the principal. Some of that $50 payment is interest, some of it goes towards paying off your loan, okay? So when it's principal and it is a loan, and I'll give you a summary of this later on, you have to use this one. Principal, like the sum of principal. From the first to this has to go years times PY. Okay? I will make this one a bonus if you didn't get this one. So this is 1, and this would be 1 times 12. So it's really sum of principals. That's going to add up all the principal you've paid from the first payment till the 12th payment in this case. And I'll show you where to get it. You got to quit your TVM solver. You got to go apps, finance, and it is right here. It is sum of interest, sum of principal, and balance. Right? Those are the only 3 functions that we use there. So I go principal, 1 comma 12. And there it is. It's 332.93, and we expect it to be negative because we gave it to the bank, right? So there it is. 332.93 is your principal. This is actually what you've paid off over 12 months. Just to reiterate something here, if you don't mind looking up, I just need you to understand what we're doing here. In 12 months, you made $50 payments, right? $600 in 1 year, you gave it to the bank. But only about half of it actually went towards paying off your loan. $600 is what you gave them. They took almost $300, thank you very much, and only $332 went towards paying off what you owe them. And that's why high interest rates really slow down how fast you can pay something off, right? High interest rates are your biggest enemy when you're trying to pay off a loan, okay? All right.